Good day. I stand before you today not as someone with all the answers, but as someone who has learned the power of perspective. Life, as we know it, is filled with challenges unpredictable, sometimes overwhelming, and often beyond our control. But one thing that remains entirely in our hands is the energy we bring into any space, any situation, and any moment. Today I want to talk about creating positive energy, not because it's easy, but because it is possible. It's possible even when the road feels rough, even when we are faced with setbacks or loss. In fact, it's precisely in those moments that creating positive energy can make all the difference. You see, energy is not just what we feel, it's what we radiate. It's the invisible force that shapes the world around us. Every day we can choose the energy we want to project. And let me tell you, positive energy is contagious. When you walk into a room with a smile on your face, when you offer a word of encouragement to someone who feels defeated, when you decide, despite all the odds, to find light in the darkest places, you don't just change your own world, you change the world of others as well. But how do we create positive energy in a world that often feels heavy? How do we remain hopeful when things don't go the way we want them to? First, we start with ourselves. True positivity begins from within. It begins with the acceptance of who we are, flaws and all. It starts when we decide to stop looking at our imperfections as burdens and instead see them as opportunities for growth. It's easy to get caught up in what's not going right. But real strength comes when we turn our focus to what is going right. It's about gratitude. Gratitude for the small victories, the lessons learned, the beauty in the everyday moments. When you cultivate gratitude, you start to realize that the world isn't just black and white, it's full of colors, full of possibilities, full of hope. Second, creating positive energy is about how we show up for others. Life is not just about us, we are all connected. Every person you meet, every conversation you have, every exchange you experience is an opportunity to uplift someone else. It's not about having the perfect words or solutions to their problems. Sometimes just listening, being present, or offering a kind word can spark a shift in someone's perspective. And when we do this, we start to build a community of positivity, a ripple effect that spreads far beyond our immediate circle. Third, we must learn to let go. Let go of resentment, of fear, of doubt. Holding on to negativity only weighs us down and drains our energy. Life has a way of throwing curveballs at us, unexpected situations, difficult people, setbacks, but it's in how we respond to those challenges that defines us. Do we let those challenges define our mood, our energy, our day, or do we decide to rise above, to learn, to grow, and to move forward with optimism? And lastly, create positive energy by focusing on what you can control. There's so much in life that we cannot change: the past, other people's actions, the state of the world. But what we can control is our reaction, our mindset, our effort. Choose to focus on the small, positive things you can do today. Small acts of kindness, small moments of peace, small moments of self-care, these things add up. They create a foundation of positive energy that will carry you through any storm. So, how do we live this out? It's in the way we wake up in the morning, choosing to embrace the day instead of feeling overwhelmed by it. It's in the way we speak to ourselves gently, kindly, with encouragement. It's in the way we treat others not as strangers, but as fellow travelers on this journey. It's in the way we refuse to let the negativity of the world dictate our actions, our words, or our beliefs. We are all energy, and we have the power to shape that energy, to create it, to amplify it. So today I encourage you, choose to create positive energy, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Because when we lift others, we lift ourselves. And together we create a world that is brighter, kinder, and filled with endless possibility. The foundation of creating positive energy begins with one simple yet profound act: self-acceptance. In a world that constantly pushes us to be more, do more, and have more, it can be easy to forget that the most important relationship we will ever have is the one with ourselves. Self-acceptance is not merely about acknowledging who we are on the surface, but truly embracing every part of ourselves, our strengths, our flaws, our scars, and our untapped potential. When we learn to accept ourselves fully, we lay the groundwork for a positive mindset and, in turn, the energy we project into the world. In today's society, we are constantly bombarded with images and ideals of perfection, whether it's in the media, on social media, or even within our own families or friend circles. These external pressures can make us feel inadequate, constantly striving for an ideal version of ourselves that may never come to fruition. The reality is that none of us are perfect, and that's precisely what makes us beautifully human. We all have our unique imperfections, and they are not flaws to be hidden or fixed, but rather parts of the rich tapestry of our identity. Embracing these imperfections allows us to live authentically and opens the door to creating genuine positive energy. When you accept who you are at your core, you stop wasting energy on self-criticism and judgment. You free yourself from the cycle of comparison, where you measure your worth against others or against unrealistic standards. Instead of looking in the mirror and seeing someone who isn't enough, you begin to see yourself as complete, as whole, as deserving of love and respect. This shift in perspective is liberating, it's empowering. It gives you the confidence to show up in the world as your true self, without fear of judgment or rejection. Self-acceptance also plays a crucial role in cultivating gratitude, which is the cornerstone of positive energy. When we accept ourselves, we naturally begin to focus on what is good in our lives rather than dwelling on what we lack. Gratitude at its core is a mindset that shifts your attention from what's missing to what's already present. And the more we appreciate what we have, the more we recognize the beauty and abundance in our lives. This creates a cycle of positivity, where the energy we emit is rooted in appreciation and contentment rather than frustration or discontentment. It's important to note that self-acceptance is not synonymous with complacency or settling for mediocrity. It doesn't mean we stop striving for growth or improvement. On the contrary, when we accept ourselves as we are, we give ourselves the permission to grow without the pressure of perfection. Self-acceptance allows us to recognize our current state, acknowledge where we want to go, and pursue personal development with kindness and patience. It's not about being static, it's about embracing the journey of becoming, knowing that every step is valid, every mistake is a lesson, and every victory, big or small, is worth celebrating. Self-acceptance also requires the courage to face our fears and vulnerabilities. It's easy to love the parts of ourselves that are polished, accomplished, and praised by others. But true acceptance comes when we learn to embrace the parts of ourselves that we tend to hide or criticize. Our mistakes, our insecurities, our weaknesses, these are all integral to who we are. They are the building blocks of our character, shaping our resilience and our ability to empathize with others. The more we learn to accept these aspects of ourselves, the more we are able to extend that same compassion to others, creating a ripple effect of kindness and understanding. Gratitude plays a vital role in fostering this sense of self-acceptance. When we begin each day by reflecting on what we are thankful for, we shift our focus from what's lacking in our lives to what is abundant. And in this practice, we also begin to appreciate ourselves more deeply. You see, gratitude isn't just about appreciating external circumstances, it's about honoring ourselves too. It's recognizing that we are worthy of good things and that our worth is not contingent on our achievements or failures. By being grateful for who we are, flaws and all, we build a sense of inner peace that allows us to radiate positivity. The practice of gratitude strengthens our sense of self-worth, which is essential for maintaining a positive energy in a world that often feels overwhelming. Life isn't always easy, and there are moments when everything seems to be going wrong. But when we practice self-acceptance and gratitude, we are better equipped to navigate these challenges. Instead of allowing adversity to strip us of our energy, we learn to view it as an opportunity for growth. Every difficulty becomes a lesson, and every setback is a chance to rebuild and improve. This mindset allows us to stay centered and maintain a sense of hope, no matter what life throws our way. Another critical aspect of self-acceptance is the ability to forgive ourselves. We all make mistakes. We all have moments where we wish we had done things differently. But beating ourselves up over the past only keeps us trapped in a cycle of negativity. Forgiveness, both of ourselves and others, is liberating. It gives us the freedom to move forward without the weight of guilt or regret holding us back. When we let go of these emotional burdens, we make room for positive energy to flow freely. This is not about forgetting or excusing harmful behavior. It's about releasing the hold that negative emotions have on our lives, so we can focus on healing and growth. The more we accept ourselves, the more we begin to trust ourselves. We trust that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. We trust that we are enough just as we are. This trust forms the foundation of positive energy because when we believe in ourselves, we begin to take actions that align with our values and purpose. We stop doubting our worth and start showing up with confidence, knowing that we have what it takes to navigate the challenges ahead. This trust in ourselves creates a ripple effect, influencing how we interact with others and how we approach the world. When we walk into a room with a strong sense of self-belief, others are drawn to our energy. They can sense the positivity we radiate, and they too are inspired to embrace their own uniqueness. Ultimately, self-acceptance is a lifelong practice. It is not something that happens overnight, nor is it a destination we reach. It's an ongoing journey of self-love, self-compassion, and self-awareness. There will be days when we struggle with doubt and insecurity. There will be moments when we fall short of our own expectations. But through it all, we can choose to be gentle with ourselves, to honor our progress, and to celebrate our growth. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory worth recognizing. By embracing self-acceptance and cultivating gratitude, we create a wellspring of positive energy within ourselves. This energy is not dependent on external circumstances or validation. It comes from the understanding that we are enough as we are. And when we accept ourselves, we free ourselves from the shackles of self-criticism and comparison, and we open the door to a world of possibility. We begin to see the beauty in our lives, in others, and in the world around us. And in doing so, we become powerful sources of positive energy, lighting up the world with our authenticity, kindness, and compassion. Creating positive energy doesn't just begin with ourselves, it extends outward to the people we interact with. Life is a series of encounters, some fleeting and some long-lasting, but each one holds the potential to either uplift or drain the energy in the space around us. We can choose every day how we show up for others, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a stranger, or even someone we may disagree with. How we engage with others can have a profound impact, not just on their lives, but on our own as well. Being a source of support for others means we are actively contributing to the positive energy in the world. And this ripple effect can reach far beyond what we may ever realize. At the heart of being a source of support is the willingness to show up for others, especially when they need it most. Sometimes it's easy to be there for people when they are celebrating achievements or when things are going well. But true support shines brightest when someone is facing hardship, doubt, or fear. It's in these moments that our energy can become a lifeline. Offering a listening ear, giving a word of encouragement, or even just showing empathy through body language can make all the difference. You don't have to have all the answers or offer grand solutions sometimes. Simply being present, offering a space for someone to express their thoughts, can be incredibly powerful. Being supportive doesn't mean that we have to bear the weight of others' struggles as our own. Nor does it mean that we have to constantly put others' needs before our own. There is a balance to be struck, understanding that by being there for others, we also help ourselves. Positive energy is not a finite resource, it's something that multiplies when shared. The more you give, the more you receive, but it has to be from a place of genuine care and understanding, not out of obligation or expectation. True support comes from the heart, not the mind, and when you show up with authenticity, others can feel it. Sometimes support doesn't look like anything grand. It might be as simple as sending a text to check in on someone you know is going through a rough patch, or offering to help in small ways when you know someone is feeling overwhelmed. Little gestures of kindness done consistently can create a lasting impact. These actions are often the ones people remember the most, not the expensive gifts or the grand gestures, but the moments where someone took the time to acknowledge their pain or to offer a small act of kindness when they didn't have to. However, supporting others doesn't only mean providing comfort in difficult times. It can also be about celebrating the wins, big or small. So often, people feel as though their accomplishments go unnoticed or unacknowledged. A simple congratulatory message, a word of praise, or even a genuine compliment can make a world of difference. When you cheer for others' success, you not only elevate them, but you also raise the vibration in the environment. Positive energy feeds off of positivity. And when we create a culture of support, we encourage everyone to continue striving for their best selves. Supporting others in their victories creates an atmosphere of collaboration, not competition. and fosters an environment where everyone feels valued. True support requires us to listen, really listen, without judgment or the urge to fix. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of offering advice before we fully understand someone's situation. We often think that to be supportive, we need to offer solutions or point out a way forward. But real support comes from being present, from hearing someone without rushing to provide an answer. Sometimes people just need to be heard, to have their feelings validated, to know that their experience matters. In those moments, simply being a non-judgmental presence can offer more healing than words ever could. Another crucial aspect of supporting others is the ability to offer constructive feedback when necessary, but always with kindness and respect. Positive energy isn't just about providing comfort or praise, it's also about helping others grow. When someone makes a mistake or falls short of their potential, it's easy to criticize or even ignore the issue altogether. However, supporting someone means helping them see their blind spots in a way that is constructive and motivating. This isn't about pointing out flaws for the sake of pointing them out. It's about offering guidance with the intention of helping that person improve. The key is always to approach the situation with empathy, understanding, and a focus on the person's potential rather than their shortcomings. Being a source of support also means recognizing when others need space, when they need solitude, or when they need to find their own way. It's about understanding that support doesn't always mean being physically present or offering advice. Sometimes the most supportive thing you can do for someone is to allow them the time and space they need to process their feelings, to make their own decisions, or to navigate their challenges in their own way. This kind of support requires patience and trust in the other person's ability to handle their own life. There is a special kind of energy that exists when we support others with an open heart. It is an energy that encourages vulnerability, deepens connection, and fosters trust. It is an energy that reminds people that they are not alone, that their struggles are not theirs to bear in isolation, and that they have the strength and the community to face whatever life brings. When we offer genuine support, we not only uplift the person in front of us, but also uplift ourselves. We become more attuned to the needs of others, more compassionate in our responses, and more connected in our relationships. This, in turn, strengthens the positive energy that exists within us and around us. Sometimes we can feel drained by the needs of others, especially when those around us are going through intense struggles. It's natural to feel empathy and to want to help, but it's also important to recognize our own limits. Being supportive doesn't mean sacrificing our well-being for the sake of others. We can't pour from an empty cup. Supporting others must also involve self-care, setting boundaries, practicing self-compassion, and making sure that we are nourished emotionally, mentally, and physically. When we take care of ourselves, we are better equipped to show up for others in a meaningful way. The energy we bring into any relationship, whether it's with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, has the power to shape the dynamic. By choosing to be a source of support, by offering kindness, empathy, and encouragement, we not only contribute to the well-being of others, but also create an environment where positivity thrives. This ripple effect can extend far beyond what we can see, creating a network of support that makes the world a better, brighter place. Letting go of negativity is one of the most powerful and transformative actions we can take in creating positive energy in our lives. It may sound simple, but in practice, it's one of the hardest things to do. We hold on to negative emotions, grudges, regrets, and fears, often because they feel familiar or because we think they protect us in some way. Yet, in reality, they do the exact opposite. They weigh us down and prevent us from embracing the positivity that is already within our reach. The energy we carry with us is a reflection of what we hold on to, and when we hold on to negativity, we inadvertently trap ourselves in a cycle of pain, resentment, and missed opportunities. Letting go of negativity, on the other hand, opens up the possibility for growth, healing, and a deeper sense of inner peace. The first step in letting go of negativity is acknowledging that we are holding on to it in the first place. Often, we don't even realize how much emotional baggage we carry. We might suppress our feelings of anger, disappointment, or fear, thinking that they will go away with time. However, unresolved emotions have a way of lingering in the background, affecting our thoughts, actions, and relationships without us even realizing it. They manifest in subtle ways through irritability, feelings of hopelessness, or even physical tension in our bodies. Acknowledging the presence of negativity is crucial because it allows us to confront it and begin the process of releasing it. Letting go of negativity requires self-awareness. We must become attuned to the thoughts and emotions that are holding us back. For example, how often do we replay the past in our minds, rehashing old arguments or mistakes? How often do we tell ourselves that we aren't good enough or that we don't deserve success or happiness? These negative thought patterns become ingrained in our subconscious over time, shaping how we see ourselves and how we interact with the world. The first step is to notice these thoughts when they arise and challenge them. Instead of letting negative thoughts dictate our reality, we can choose to reframe them and focus on what is positive and empowering. Another critical part of letting go of negativity is forgiving ourselves and others. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It's not about excusing bad behavior or pretending that nothing happened. Rather, it is about freeing ourselves from the grip of anger, hurt, and resentment. Holding on to grudges keeps us tied to the past and prevents us from moving forward. Forgiveness allows us to release the emotional hold that others or even ourselves may have over us. It doesn't mean we forget the hurt, but it means we no longer allow it to define our present or future. Forgiving others also means releasing any expectation that they will apologize or change. We forgive not for them, but for our own peace of mind. Forgiving ourselves can be even more challenging. We often hold ourselves to higher standards than we hold others, and when we make mistakes, we can be our harshest critics. But the truth is, we are all human and we all stumble. Embracing self-forgiveness is essential in letting go of negativity. It's a process of accepting that we have made mistakes, acknowledging the lessons learned, and then allowing ourselves to move forward without guilt or shame. Self-forgiveness is liberating. It frees us to pursue our goals, embrace new opportunities, and believe in our worth again. Another aspect of letting go of negativity is learning to release fear. Fear can be one of the most paralyzing emotions we experience. It often holds us back from pursuing our dreams, taking risks, or even living fully in the present moment. Fear thrives on the unknown and the what-ifs. It fills our minds with endless scenarios of what could go wrong. However, much of what we fear is either out of our control or based on false assumptions. By recognizing that fear is a natural part of life but not something we must give power to, we can begin to shift our focus from what we fear to what we can control. Letting go of fear involves trusting ourselves in the process of life. It's about choosing faith over doubt, action over paralysis, and possibility over limitation. Letting go of negativity also involves freeing ourselves from toxic relationships. Sometimes the negativity we carry isn't our own, it's the energy of those around us. Negative, draining relationships can leave us feeling emotionally exhausted and depleted. These relationships often involve constant criticism, judgment, or a lack of support. While we may not be able to control the behavior of others, we can choose how much of their negativity we allow into our lives. Setting boundaries is crucial in protecting our energy and well-being. This doesn't mean we cut people off entirely, but it means we establish healthy limits on how much we allow them to influence our emotional state. Letting go of toxic relationships is an act of self-care. It's about creating space for positivity, love, and respect to enter. One of the most effective ways to let go of negativity is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices help us cultivate awareness and presence, allowing us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Meditation, in particular, creates a space of stillness where we can release stress, anxiety, and negativity. Focusing on what we can control is a powerful way to create positive energy in our lives. We live in a world where it's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of things beyond our control: global issues, the behavior of others, the unpredictability of the future. Yet, in the face of such uncertainty, there is a key to maintaining a sense of peace and positivity. We can always choose to focus on what we can control. By shifting our attention to the areas where we have influence, we reclaim our power, reduce anxiety, and open ourselves up to greater opportunities for growth and fulfillment. The first step in focusing on what we can control is acknowledging the things we can't control. This can be a difficult realization for many, as we often find ourselves trying to influence outcomes that are simply beyond our reach. For example, we can't control how others act, how the world responds to crises, or even the natural course of life. We can't always control the challenges that come our way, the mistakes we make, or the people we encounter. But once we accept that there are things outside of our influence, we take away their power over us. We stop wasting mental and emotional energy on things that drain us and start focusing on the things that truly matter, the areas where we can make a real difference. One of the most significant areas we can control is our mindset. How we choose to perceive situations and events can drastically shape our experiences. For example, when faced with adversity, we can choose to view it as an obstacle or as an opportunity for growth. While we can't control every circumstance, we do have control over how we react to it. The way we frame our experiences influences how we feel and how we respond. By adopting a mindset of growth, gratitude, and positivity, we train ourselves to see the silver linings even in challenging times. This shift in perspective is incredibly powerful because it empowers us to stay resilient in the face of difficulties and to remain open to the lessons life has to offer. Another area we can control is our actions. We may not have control over the outcome of every situation, but we always have control over the choices we make. Our decisions, both big and small, shape our lives. Whether it's the way we approach our work, how we treat others, or the habits we form, we have the ability to choose how we show up in the world. When we focus on making conscious, intentional decisions, we create positive energy that ripples through our lives. For example, if we choose to take action toward our goals, even in small steps, we start to build momentum that carries us forward. If we choose to be kind, even when it's hard, we contribute to a positive environment around us. If we choose to prioritize self-care, we improve our physical, emotional, and mental well-being, which in turn allows us to be more present and effective in other areas of our lives. Focusing on what we can control also means taking responsibility for our emotional state. Often we blame external factors for how we feel, whether it's the actions of others, our circumstances, or events beyond our control. While it's true that external factors can influence us, we have the power to decide how we respond to them. When we take responsibility for our emotions, we stop waiting for the world to change before we feel better. Instead, we begin to cultivate an internal environment of peace and positivity, regardless of what's happening around us. This doesn't mean suppressing our emotions or ignoring the challenges we face. Rather, it's about recognizing that we have the ability to manage our emotional responses and choose how we react. One powerful tool in focusing on what we can control is mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to stay present in the moment, rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future. When we focus on the present moment, we become more attuned to our thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations. We can choose to engage with the present in a more grounded, intentional way, which helps reduce stress and anxiety. By practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to be more aware of our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to make conscious decisions about how we respond to them. Rather than reacting impulsively or automatically, we learn to pause, reflect, and choose the response that aligns with our values and goals. Another aspect of focusing on what we can control is setting boundaries. We all encounter situations and people that drain our energy or demand more from us than we are willing or able to give. Setting healthy boundaries is an essential part of taking control of our lives and maintaining our well-being. By clearly communicating our limits, we protect our energy and ensure that we are not overextending ourselves. Boundaries allow us to create space for the things that truly matter to us, whether it's time for self-care, pursuing our passions, or spending quality time with loved ones. When we set boundaries, we send a clear message to ourselves and others that our time and energy are valuable and that we are committed to using them in ways that align with our values. Focusing on what we can control also means embracing discipline and consistency. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of immediate results or quick fixes, but true growth requires sustained effort over time. Whether it's working toward a goal, building a healthy habit, or improving a skill, progress is made through consistent action. Discipline doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. Rather, it's about showing up for ourselves day after day, even when we don't feel like it. By focusing on the small, daily actions that align with our larger goals, we create momentum that leads to significant, lasting change. Consistency is a form of control. When we commit to taking intentional action, we shape our own future. Lastly, focusing on what we can control means accepting that there will always be uncertainty and things that don't go as planned. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how much we plan or prepare, there will always be variables we can't account for. However, we do have control over how we respond to those uncertainties. We can choose to approach them with curiosity and adaptability rather than fear and resistance. When we stop trying to control everything and instead focus on how we can best respond to the challenges and opportunities that come our way, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. Embracing uncertainty with openness and flexibility allows us to flow with life rather than struggle against it. By focusing on what we can control, we free ourselves from the paralysis of overthinking and the drain of worrying about things beyond our reach. We regain a sense of agency and purpose, knowing that our actions, mindset, and choices shape the energy we bring into the world. When we focus on what we can control, we empower ourselves to create a life that is more fulfilling, peaceful, and aligned with our highest potential. Being present in the moment is one of the most profound ways to cultivate positive energy in our lives. In a world that constantly pulls our attention in 1,000 different directions, it's easy to get lost in thoughts about the past or the future. We dwell on what has already happened, replaying old mistakes or reliving regrets, or we project ourselves into the future, worrying about what might go wrong or imagining what could be. But the truth is that neither the past nor the future can offer us the peace or joy that exists in the present moment. The present is the only time where we have the power to act, to experience, and to create. By learning to be present, we unlock a wellspring of positive energy that allows us to engage fully with life and appreciate all that it has to offer. The first step in being present is to develop awareness. Often we go through our days on autopilot, barely noticing what's happening around us. We rush from one task to the next, caught up in our to-do lists and responsibilities, and we miss the beauty and significance of the present moment. Awareness is about slowing down and tuning into our senses, what we see, hear, smell, feel, and taste. It's about becoming conscious of what is happening right now without judgment or distraction. When we cultivate awareness, we allow ourselves to be fully immersed in whatever we are doing, whether it's a conversation with a loved one, a work task, or a simple moment of stillness. Awareness anchors us to the here and now, and it's in this place of presence that we begin to experience life more deeply and with more meaning. Being present also requires letting go of distractions. In the digital age, distractions are everywhere. We have our phones, computers, social media, and constant notifications, all vying for our attention. It's easy to become consumed by these distractions and lose touch with the moment we are in. Whether it's checking our emails during dinner or scrolling through social media while spending time with friends, these distractions pull us out of the present and prevent us from fully engaging with the people and experiences around us. Letting go of distractions doesn't mean completely eliminating them from our lives, but it does mean being intentional about when and how we engage with them. It's about setting boundaries and creating time for deep focus, connection, and reflection. When we choose to put our phones down and be fully present with the person in front of us, or when we decide to enjoy a quiet moment of mindfulness instead of scrolling endlessly, we allow ourselves to experience life in its fullness. Another critical element of being present is learning to manage our thoughts. Our minds are often busy, racing from one thought to the next. We replay past events, analyze future scenarios, or get lost in worry and doubt. When we let our minds wander too far away from the present, we miss out on the richness of the moment. Managing our thoughts doesn't mean we stop thinking altogether or ignore our worries. It means we choose to focus our attention on the here and now, rather than getting lost in what's already happened or what's yet to come. One of the most effective ways to do this is through mindfulness practices, which teach us to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. When we notice that our minds are drifting, we can gently bring our focus back to our breath, our surroundings, or whatever we are currently doing. This practice of mental discipline allows us to return to the present moment, even when our thoughts try to pull us away. Being present also means embracing the full spectrum of our emotions. We often try to avoid difficult feelings such as sadness, anger, or fear because we think they are negative or uncomfortable. But the truth is, every emotion, whether pleasant or unpleasant, has something valuable to teach us. When we are present with our emotions, we allow ourselves to feel them fully without judgment. We experience them as they arise, rather than suppressing or denying them. By being present with our emotions, we create space for them to move through us, rather than letting them build up or fester. This process of emotional awareness not only helps us navigate our feelings in a healthier way, but also allows us to connect more deeply with ourselves and others. When we share our emotions authentically and listen to the emotions of those around us, we foster an environment of empathy, understanding, and connection, which in turn generates positive energy. One of the most beautiful aspects of being present is its ability to deepen our relationships. When we are fully present with others, we create a space for true connection. We listen more deeply, engage more meaningfully, and show up with compassion and attentiveness. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of being physically present but mentally elsewhere. We might be in a conversation, but our minds are elsewhere, thinking about work, planning our next task, or worrying about the future. But when we are present with someone, we offer them our full attention. We show them that they matter, that their words and emotions are important, and that we value the time we're spending together. This kind of presence builds trust and strengthens the bond between people, creating an environment of warmth and positivity.